One message for you from your aunt. She will bust both of you in the head. Can y'all hear me?
It's not rocket science, you know.
I think you, like me, have a face for radio.
Can y'all hear me?
We gonna play with the players we got. Next man up.
That's why it sucks.
I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you.
This kind of unprofessionalism does not need to be tolerated. I mean it. Like,
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
what the hell is going on here? Just all hang up.
Another episode of the BS Podcast.
Hang on.
Moran.
Hang on. There's all kinds of noise in my ear now.
Oh, jeez.
We need a little bit more professionalism.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is the Q Dog. Welcome back to the Live Reaction Podcast, or welcome to the Live Reaction Podcast. Alabama beats LSU 20-9. What in the world? I'm glad to have a W. I always go back to Florida State in that game and losing on the road, and the season being all for nothing. And you know, everybody's we're just going downtown. You know what I mean? It's terrible. And so to get a W against an LSU team that had everything to win and nothing to lose. I mean, I guess you have to be excited about that, but just really seemed like Alabama's offense was lackluster. Really poorly executed blocking on the offensive line, trying to run the ball at odd plays. I asked this question, with Josh, and even stated in the BS podcast chat. I wondered if Nick Sheridan was getting another test drive, a call in plays tonight, because it just did not make sense what we were doing when we had the ability to kind of chop them up early. But then we kept running some odd-looking screens, and Ty was throwing the ball, even though we weren't open, just trying to loop it over the top. It was an odd occurrence, and something seemed really off there. And if you agree, let me know what you hear. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. I had to come home, so in order to get the podcast started. So if I would presume that Coach DeBoer's press conference has already happened. I can't imagine it not. But if it has not, and it gets here, then I will bring it to you live. We'll just have to see what the story is. I'll go ahead and share it. I'll go ahead and share it on the stage. I'll be here ready for it should anything happen. But I would love to know your thoughts, Alabama football fans, other fans, any fan. I would love to know what your thoughts are on the Alabama Crimson Tide. I got to say, just first reaction, the defense played a lot of bend, don't break. And I was really proud of them for coming through. What do we have, 2 turnovers? God, Zooks, 2 turnovers. Could have been 3. Maybe more, but there's some things that I got to think through, just as far as the turnover margin went. I know Alabama had 1 turnover. I think we ended with like 1 penalty, maybe 2, for less than 30 yards or less than 40 yards. So a very disciplined effort from the University of Alabama for that matter. But really, we've got to find out what is going on with our man Ty Simpson. And yeah, there are plenty of determining factors. What caused him to struggle throwing the football on time? And so there's a reality there, but you just wonder. You wonder if Ty maybe be putting a too much pressure on himself and trying to do too many things when, the philosophy is just take what the defense gives you. And so I'm not sure what that looks like, but after on the field after the game, Ty did talk, to the TV group and just talk about how we came out flat. They came out flat. I didn't play one snap, but how they came out flat and what that sort of looked like, and it was rough. Even on our first drive, it just did not end in points, and that's something that we are going to have to do better if we want to compete for a championship. And 24-hour rule, but we all know that next week Oklahoma comes to town, and that defense is fast, it's efficient. It is, man, it's a mean looking defense, and Alabama is just starting out so slow offensively, slow, not well scripted. The blocking is a challenge. We keep trying to run the football when our strength is passing the football, and I know we want to, but it's just not working. And so what are we going to do differently as we push into, and look, transparently, after the Florida State game, I was one of the guys that was like, maybe we lose 4 games this year, just because we didn't look like we had resiliency. It looked like a carryover from Michigan. Can I get an amen? And so, I never even thought that, I just didn't know if we would be in this position. So, hats off to the defense and the football team as a whole, for winning 8 straight games. And there's a lot of talent on that LSU sideline. So, we want to give some credit, but we truly want to be able to sustain drives, and we want to be able to give our defense a break, especially when they are playing, what I would say so valiantly. They are playing so well. But we can't do that if we can't stay on the field. And Alabama has the ability, to pass in such a way where it feels like we're running the ball and chewing up the clock. But it's rough. It's rough when you feel like the play calling is off, and you feel like we're making just poor decisions, and you don't know. I mean, even at the end there, I know we had truly hoped that they'd go and score, some more points, just to make it feel better. But just looking immediately, time of possession was almost even. I mean, LSU did have the edge in time of possession, but looking at some of the other measurables, Bama had under 400 yards total offense. LSU had under 250 total yards offense. So, man, the defense really, really, really did a great job. So, sorry for the distraction there. I went to another screen, and ESPN was just playing. They were playing like crazy. It was just happening. For those of you, if you already know, I would presume that the press conference has already been had. And if it has, maybe we can go back and look at said press conference if it's already up there. If it has not, let me know. And we'll try and check it out, try and bring it to you if you didn't get a chance to see it already. But let's see. Let me see what I can find. Alabama post game versus LSU. Yeah, I'm not okay, LSU post game. Let's see if I can share this one, which Good. Good job making a wise decision.
Check. 1 2 1 2 test 1 2 camera check 1 2.
Okay, here we go. We'll go ahead and listen to the post game press conference. Sadly, I missed it live, but that Fort Worth traffic sometimes can get you. But let's take a listen to what
1 2 3 4
Coach has to
5
say.
test. Everybody good?
Okay, I got us fast forwarded here, so just hang tight with me, and we'll see what Coach DeBoer had to say. If you already saw it, go ahead and throw some comments below. But otherwise, I'd love to see what Coach DeBoer had to say. Here he comes, and away I'll go.
Yeah, you bet. It's always good to get a W. Definitely not satisfied with the way we played at times. Made enough plays to win. But certainly got to continue to improve. Got to get back to work tomorrow, and our guys know that. Proud of the defense, holding them to field goals, 4 red zone attempts, and walking away with 9 points. It's a great job by those guys. Penalties, like what I see there. And then, turnover won the turnover battle. So obviously a big play there at the end. And, just there's plays out there we got to make. And that will help a lot of our offense and defensively. Again, I thought we fought for 4 quarters, and so quietly just going out there, taking care of business, and really locked in on anything that we might have saw that was a little bit different. But for the most part, you find a way to win. That's what matters.
All right, thanks. Let's start with Nick on the front left.
Yeah, do you feel like the defense has turned a corner?
I feel like they've been playing pretty solid. I feel like whether it's turned a corner, I feel like they keep getting better. I feel like last week, I think there were some things we gave up an explosive, on one play, and I thought we were stingy at times. They got a short field last week, 2 weeks ago, I guess, against South Carolina. And then, but I think there is a mindset that they have. I think there's a mindset that is built on trust, and guys are doing their job. There's less of the explosive plays where one guy makes a mistake, doesn't fit a gap. We're seeing less and less of that. And so, again, just doing your job, understanding how to play certain blocks, knowing where your help's at, leveraging, and then guys getting to the ball. They have a mindset right now where if they hustle, they will, end up creating breaks. We just missed a couple opportunities, I think, with the ball on the ground or ball, getting tipped in the air. And so we'll keep making those plays, and they're timely, at the end of the game and early in the game to give us a little cushion there at the beginning. So I like the way that they play. I like their mindset, and again, I'm confident they'll go back to work again tomorrow.
Stay on the left side. We'll go to Katie next.
Sticking with the defense, how have you seen them step up in the critical moments, whether it's been when they've had the short fields or kind of getting turnovers when they need to?
Yeah, I think again, when the turnover happened tonight, and they get put in that spot where it is a short field, they did again. They did a nice job. Even got inside the 10, if I remember right. And we just keep reminding the guys to continue to make them snap it again. And then our crowd comes and helps us out with getting some false starts. That's huge. That was a problem for them the entire game. So, huge props to our fans for staying in there with us and the big moments and helping us out there. Our guys feed off that energy, and again, that puts the offense in a tough spot when they're behind the sticks, especially in the red zone. So, I think, there's times when we go for it on 4th down over the course of the year, and that's me trusting the defense as much as I am trusting the offense. And there's times when they've had their back to the wall for whatever reason, a takeaway, by the opponent, and they've just buckled down and settled in and trusting each other.
Let's go to Charlie on the front right.
What did you think of the run game tonight, and what do you need to do to kind of get that going on a consistent basis?
Yeah, we only had 56 yards, so needs to be better. And I think there's a lot of things. I think there's other things we can do to make a defense have to cover us, and we missed opportunities, that would help open up the box a little bit. But we certainly either one of two things on each play is do a better job blocking, and then do a good job of being physical with the ball in our hands too, and falling ahead for yards. Those extra 1 or 2 yards, 3 yards that you can get by running through arm tackles and things like that, those can hurt. And so again, we got to do a better job giving lanes for the running back to go hit it confidently and hit it hard. It's everything. It's an effort across the board. When we run on the perimeter, let's make sure we get the blocks out there. We certainly got to be better than what we were.
Let's go to Chase.
In the second quarter, Ty had a 3rd and 5 in the red zone, and he calls a timeout. And then y'all come back and get the pass interference to move the chains, end up scoring a touchdown there. What did he see that he didn't like, and what can you say about his assertiveness to make a pretty critical decision to burn a timeout there on a 3rd down that close to the end zone?
Yeah, especially in the first half. But, really anytime, you never want your quarterback snapping the ball if there's anything that doesn't feel right. And, there was just something that didn't feel right with who the line was pointing to, and I think that with the clock coming down, he wanted to make sure that we were able to, get our cleats in the dirt, everyone be on the same page. So I thought it was a really smart play by him. Again, if a bad situation happens, we can't make a bad situation worse, and he kept us out of that. And again, like you said, made a throw, got the PI, and helped us score.
Second row on the right, Colin.
Hey, Kellen, did you feel that the atmosphere surrounding this game, did it feel like a rivalry game, or what was kind of that like for you on the side?
Oh yeah, our guys knew that we were going to get a team that if they were in the fight, they were going to stay in the fight. We understand what we were up against, and that's the way we treated it. And I think our guys practice hard. I know they practice hard. And, there's just some things where we can do better to separate ourselves in the third quarter when we have a chance to put a game away. And, there's been a couple games now where we haven't done that, and that's what we got to get better at.
Let's go to Joe right behind him there.
Coach, can you give us your assessment on the deep passing game, and then also kind of give your assessment of Lozier Brooks coming back into the lineup and his impact for the offense?
Yeah, I think to answer really both questions with one, I think that throw to Lottie at the end of the half was huge. Again, some momentum going to the locker room. We knew they were going to get the ball to start the third quarter. Really no timeouts for us, and for us to go down the field that quickly. Ty and Lottie seemed to hook up when we're the most covered, and so that's a great play by those guys. And then again, the throw to Ty, for the touchdown there at the end of the half, it was huge too. So. Lottie, there's a tackle he broke. I saw at the end of the game. You all saw it, and he just has that knack with the ball in his hands, and he adds an element of explosiveness to the team. He is huge on special teams as well. I think that's the part that it started with at the beginning of the season, what he can bring to special teams, whether it's return game or punt, kickoff, all those areas. He's an explosive player. So. As far as overall, throwing the ball down the field, we haven't been as consistent as I think we can be. We got the players to do it, and there's just, a fine line, a ball just off the fingertips, timing not quite there. So we got to continue to work at that. We've shown we can do it.
We'll finish up on the left here with Jimmy.
Coach, with all the turnover we've already seen in the SEC amongst the coaches, is it difficult to prepare for an interim coach who brings maybe a new energy to a program, or is it difficult?
Yeah, we just acknowledge the fact that could happen, and that we were going to get their best. Again, rivalry game, this situation that we're facing, and what it was. But in the end, we needed to focus on us, and that's what we really challenged our guys to do the last 2 weeks, was focus on us and keep taking the steps moving forward. And again, we want to improve each and every week. We certainly have room where we can continue to get better. And that's the disappointing thing, but also the exciting thing. Disappointed that we fell short in some areas, but also excited that I know they're correctable, and I know that some of the things we can do better will help us win games and be better than what we were out there. So we continue to move on. We continue to keep the focus on that principle in our program of continue to chase, the improvement.
All right, thank you.
You bet. Yep. Thanks.
Yeah, I truly thought that was well said. You can tell At least I could tell, I'm sure you can too, that Coach DeBoer is gaining and growing in confidence. He's really starting to settle in as he makes his mark at the University of Alabama. I think it's very apparent that it's clear that it's an execution issue, and we don't know if that execution is lack of preparation, over preparation. We don't know exactly what it is, but I believe looking at his body language and talking about and him talking about some of the points that he made, that he does feel it's very correctable. And so, everybody's going to ask about the run game and what we can do. I don't know that we have the right combination of offensive line in the game at the right spot. Something is not clicking. Something is off there. It's not like we have a lack of talent. We have a great coaching staff. So it's sort of perplexing. It has to be for the University of Alabama as well, why we cannot line up and impose our will on football teams. And do we need to do it? Yes, but also we need to score gobs of points and be able to win and give our defense time to rest. With all the work that they're doing. And I mean, if you just look at it, and we'll have the full show. We'll have the full show on Monday, which it'll be coming out. But I've got to look and see, as far as the plays go, what was the total number of plays? Because gadzooks, Alabama just. It turned out that we ended up having, 31 minutes for LSU, almost 32 minutes to Alabama's 28. So they did have the ball a little bit longer than we did. But ultimately, it looks like we had 62, 64 plays. And they had, I guess, right around the same. So that is just very, very interesting to me. Yeah, we had 56 yards rushing. They had 59. So, I don't know. It's just very interesting that I don't play, like I said, I don't play for the University of Alabama, but that our football team cannot, with the athletes we have, both on the line and in the backfield, that we do not have the ability to impose our will and run the football. Not a Jam Miller. Not Daniel Hill. Richard Young is just, I don't even hear about him anymore, unfortunately, which is sad because I thought that he would definitely be, one of the premier backs this year. But the issue is most typically, the offensive line. So I just don't know where or how that comes together. And my hope is that it is correctable. But look, we are 9 weeks in, 10, I guess 11 weeks in as far as the total season goes. But we're 9 games in. And for now, for us not to have this solved, is very troubling. Because I don't perceive that Ohio State is going to have an issue running the ball. They didn't have an issue doing anything in the playoffs last year. It doesn't look like, Texas A&M is going to have problems running the ball. And so in order for Alabama to compete for a national championship, not to get booted out in the first round or not to get just absolutely lambasted should they make it to the SEC championship, there's got to be some tweaks made. And where does that truly, where does that come from? And, so it's very interesting to me that we still cannot run the ball. And then for tonight, I just don't know exactly what was going on with Ty. There were some drops, yes, but there were also some passes that were just out of reach, too short. And just it was not as crispy as it could have been. And for some reason, some of the decision making was off as well. And so, it's great to be 8-1. Like, again, it wasn't something I thought was even going to be possible, but I'm interested to see if I can carve out the time to review some of this film. Brooks Austin is going to break it down, obviously, and I love watching him break the film down because he's going to show us where the problem is. Now, he can figure it out, so I'm sure that this multi-gazillion-dollar coaching staff can, but like I say, we're 9 weeks in, and it's just not getting better. As a matter of fact, my brother Josh, who's a part of the program as well, he feels like we've regressed a bit, and I cannot disagree with that. And lastly, one of the last things I'll say, under Jalen Milroe, we averaged about 33.8 points a game, and under Ty, who I believe is a better all-around quarterback, we're averaging 34.2, if I'm not mistaken. Thus far in the season, and tonight we scored 20. But the margin is just it's not as big as I would have imagined. I thought it was going to be something else. I thought it would be much more impressive. The record is, the ability to execute and be resilient is. So this just might be college football for Alabama for a while, as Coach DeBoer gets his gets on into his full line recruiting class, and having his recruits there in the next 1 to 2 years. So got to be happy for the W. Like I said, I'll take ugly wins over beautiful losses any day. So it is great to be 8-1. Next week Oklahoma comes to town, and myself and my wife and my brother and his wife, we are going to be at that game. So that will be incredibly interesting. And for some reason, it seems like most of the time Oklahoma has our number. They just dial it up against the Tide. We've gotten them a couple times over the past 5-6 years, but last year they just absolutely embarrassed us. We didn't even score a touchdown. So it is concerning tonight that, I think LSU's pass defense is not even in the top half of college football. And we ended the game by scoring a field goal in the second half. So my hope is they get that fixed. But hey, it's up to them to get it done. And they're the ones on the field making it happen. And they do actually have another team on the other side of the line of scrimmage that doesn't want to allow them to let that happen. So let's not let that be lost on us. But that's all. Make sure you join us Monday night for the full show. We'll get Wild Bills, Bama bullet points. We'll get the stats brought to you by yours truly, the Q-Dog. The Dash is on the board, which they will bring us what is going on in the press conference world. What does Coach Grubb have to say? What does Coach Kane Womack have to say? Maybe some player insight into what's going on, and then what Coach DeBoer has to say Monday. And then we'll get into the fourth quarter where we show our predictions for what we think is going to happen when Bama takes on the Boomer Sooner in T-Town. Ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to being at the game next week, and we hope that you have a fantastic evening. Have a blessed Sunday. Hope you get plenty of family time and some relaxation, and we will be back on Monday night. That didn't sound right. We will be back on Monday night, 5:30 p.m. Central Time, right here, the BS Podcast. Roll Tide, everybody. Roll Tide. It's great to win. We will see you then. Go get after it.
One message for you from your aunt. She will bust both of you in the head. Can y'all hear me?
Not rocket science,
I think you, like me, have a face for radio.
Can y'all hear me?
We gonna play with the players we got. Next man up.
That's why it sucks.
I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you.
This kind of unprofessionalism does not need to be tolerated. I mean it. Like,
You know hear me? You know hear me? You know hear me? You know hear me?
what the hell is going on here? Just all hang up.
Another episode of the BS Podcast.
Hang
Your
on,
host,
hang
Quincy
on,
Moran.
hang on. There's all kinds of noise in my ear now.
Oh, jeez.
We need a little bit more professionalism.